Extra, extra, read all about it. Welcome to the Empires Recap, and today we'll be going over the chaos and drama of our somewhat respected rulers. This week, the emperors might be headed down a road of potentially illegal actions, including a black market, stealing, and several instances of murder. It wouldn't be empires without it, and the hermits fit right in with their new tag game. Pixel Rift hears a zombie in his catacombs and tracks the sound to a secret chamber behind the painting of Santa Perla. One of the tombs inside is making noise. Has Pix's ability to bring back extinct creatures made it to dead kings as well? Not quite. It's Rendog, who was a king that died a little bit ago back on Hermitcraft before finally making his way through the rift. Pix dusts the dirt off of him and brings Ren into the sunlight, who then confidently declares he can make his own start, heading off into the uninhabited west. The strange things don't slow down. Exuma Void turns up, looking a bit shorter than normal. Pix introduces him to David, happy to be having someone who actually knows Redstone take a proper look at his creation. The Copper Ager impresses Exuma, and is also why he's here. He wants to build a copper farm, and thinks Pix would be interested in considering his usage. They build up a platform in the end out of Prismarine, borrowed from Joey's shop. Blanket access to a shop is a dangerous thing, and plan to lead a bunch of zombies through the end portal to start the farm working. Pix's sharp ears are used to hearing zombies by now, and he even finds a spawner with convenient placement to chopping them through from above, even if a few still need to be baited in with a game of ring around the end portal. Unfortunately, once through the portal, the number of successful transplants proves to be too great, and not even a totem can save Pix from dying. He returns, slaying the zombies who stole his things since Exuma stuck him in boats. And now things can proceed. Exuma leads an army of zombies through the void, with Pix in the back acting as his eyes. Now they can run the farm and explain its workings with terms like local difficulty and reinforcement mechanics. Ah, technical players. Zombies go in, copper comes out. Good enough for me. On his own, Pix runs the farm as testing and improvement. His attempts to big brain things with snowballs fall short, but the big brain boats are a success, keeping anyone who has to refill the zombies from meeting the same fate he had. The output of the farm is impressive, and plenty to refill David, so he and Exuma return and have more Redstoner talk, this time with tick ranges. The hands-on learning from creating David has made Pixel Rifts a true Redstone engineer. Today in Chromia, Scott, totally not the Emerald Ore thief, is showing off some houses that he built on stream. They're in work in progress, okay? Then he decides to give the server's resident pirate a taste of his own medicine and plunders the booty from his treasure chest. Wow, that sounds weird. He temporarily hides it behind a painting, the oldest trick in the book, which works for about 3 seconds until Pixel Rift shows up and confronts Scott about his missing items.
I owned a deep slate emerald ore that has gone missing from my museum very recently, and the lore compass has pointed me directly to you. It's actually... compass?
Swearing innocence and placing the blame on his deep slate emerald perfume, Scott realizes that he needs a better place for his stolen goods. And what better place than a market made just for illicit items? Unfortunately, he gets caught while stalking the market up. Fortunately, it's only Lizzie, and she's easily bribed into silence with Joey's stolen trident and a head. Really, the suspiciously low price she paid should have tipped her off that something fishy was going on. Not that she's all innocent either. In return, Scott receives a stack of bottles of enchanting and a shulker box named somewhat alarmingly, "Sorry you got tagged." The next invitee in the list for Scott's market is a certain goblin who might not be too fond of the sheriff these days.
Sell whatever, and it's fine.
Yep, you can sell whatever. You can sell things you find, things you acquire, whether it's legal or not.
After paying him and his kingdom a visit, they head back to the bridge for a tour of the market. Both Whip and Lizzie have been sworn to silence over this. Shh, they were never here.
Speaking of looking underground for an update on Whip, he has decided he needs to send a strongly worded note to Ollie about his death. The fact that Ollie is at home when Whip arrives is no consequence, as it seems Ollie is up in the clouds, so Whip leaves his notes and gets out without confrontation. Scott visits his underground cabin to introduce him to the underground market out of range of the law, so of course he has to sell some stolen sweet berries from Animalia. Except he finds some odd items hidden in the chest. Wonder why they were hidden like that. Not that it'll stop him taking them, of course. Now, he wants to make a tram system all the way to Animalia, and seeing as he is basically under the Empire, there should be a lot of amethyst. Lizzie agrees, and he pays her by building the system, after she tells him where she wants it to end. Now, last week, Whip forgot to pay Sausage, so he takes a quick fly to Sanctuary to leave a stack of copper before he goes back to work on the tram station. Jimmy visits, smaller than usual, and Whip mocks him by making squeaky toy noises with the deputy badge. However, him and Scar are apparently on an assassination mission. Well, let's see how they do in the deep dark. Whip comes out on top and then sets up another stall in the underground market, selling deputy badges, specifically to mess with Jimmy.
The sheriff of Tumbletown seems a little shorter than usual today. On stream, Sausage threw a lore potion on him to turn him small, and he doesn't know how to turn it back. Now, remember last time where Joel defeated Jimmy in that duel they had? Well, Jimmy received his consolation prank. Over the wall of Tumbletown is a massive statue of Joel. The man is a menace. Anyway, it's time to meet with Scar. The plan is going to be put into action, and it's time to get the deputy badge back. The code phrase is volleyball. Not that it works the very first few times Jimmy yells it, but Scar swoops in and they try to kill Whip, chasing him all over the Goblands. Whip fights back with his new weapon and makes them chase him down to a not well traversed part of the Goblands, the ancient city. Jimmy gets killed by Whip, who follows them back to Tumbletown, where Whip manages to kill them both. He's gone mad with power. There's only one man to turn to now.
Guys, Whip's mad with power. I can't stop him. There's only one man to turn to.
Oblivious, Joel decides to continue work on his mega palace by building 3 of the towers, or magical plinths, surrounding the central building. First, though, he needs to get quartz. A lot of it. He wrangles some additional villagers to trade with, and 12,000 trades and a lot of smelting later, he has all the quartz he needs. Before he starts on the towers, Joe Hill drops by with his resume and a cover letter in the form of an all-purpose diss track for Joel to use on future rivals, thoroughly impressing him. The full thing is an experience we left for you in Joel and Joe's videos. Have fun. Joel then starts on the first tower, but halfway through realizes he dropped an entire shulker of smooth quartz. Cue pain and suffering.
So, 1 second, please.
He trades and smelts more quartz, and finishes up the tower to go meet up with Grian at Tumbletown. There, despite the sheriff's best attempt at stopping them, they spawn a wither on the mountaintops right outside Tumbletown. The fight goes chaotically, with most of it being done in total darkness. Jimmy manages to grab the star first, trading it back to them for a witherhead and some other items. The 3 of them fly down to Tumbletown to inspect for damages, and after some more shenanigans and an explosive death, Joel returns to Stratos. He finishes off the 2 other towers and plans a new build for Hermes off the central walkway. Lizzie's mob drop bundle looks a little bit empty compared to her other ones. Mission. Decoration is once again the theme of this episode. On the list today, bee hunting.
Now, let's be smart about this.
Impersonating a princess.
It is I, Princess Catherine, back from another hard day working in the spider farm.
And reusing abandoned mob heads that she forgot until now are all in the store. Now, onto the more difficult mob heads. The blaze comes rather quickly.
Grand total of 208 blazes. I have the head.
The Enderman head chase is at least more intense, involving lots of boats and lots of death.
No, you have not got deja vu. I am in fact making this journey for the 7th time.
When placing Mr. Enderman's head, Lizzie is suddenly interrupted by a voice, her quote-unquote conscience. He leads her into a genuine tea party where Grian is waiting for her, revealing it was all a ruse for the tag game. Instead of pushing her, it is Lizzie herself that falls into the void. Lost one of her 9 lives there. Now it is Lizzie's turn to be the tagged, and obtain a new mission. Kill a hermit, this time with lightning. But it has all benefited to her as she needed lightning to get her last mob heads. Being near the Black Market, Great Bridge, Lizzie acquired from Scott a trident, a zombie head, and some mysterious trinket that she immediately hides in her berry farm. Finally, obtaining her last 2 mob heads, Lizzie now has her Kill a Hermit mission left. She successfully attracts Hermit Falls with a genius plan.
Around and count the cobbles in the cobblestone real quick for me.
She manages to kill her, making her the new jester. She went through with the murder with an apologies box to gift the victim and left with a possible enemy.
Things are getting glitchy in Cogsmeade. The Grand Architect wakes from a strange vision, echoes of her own voice ringing. Anyway, she checks the sign, which seems to be covered in lichen, which informs her it was not her who built the tower, but someone else. In response, she builds an interior for a potential resident. Joe Hills comes in for an interview,
I might have a resume here for you if you're interested.
and is hired to keep an eye out for the tower. He gives her a report, which is basically...
False report by Joe Hills.
Who?
Someone's dressed as false, but in different clothes.
How they got in?
Threw a book at the carpet, and a new book was dispensed.
And the other suspicious activity was?
Climbed the tower. Flew away.
To pay him, she checks out her empire for loyalty books. There she meets Scar, who immediately tries to swindle her, and Cap, who tries to get them to join his cult. A chest labeled false catches her attention, so she comes back later and grabs some stuff out of it. A trident, a keycard, and a map that are definitely hers.
Family is important, especially to the Guardian of Sanctuary. The blank slate that B-Dubs left last week is changed to a gold sun for his dear Joel, and his Tia Maria arrives. She's a leatherworker, the best in the business. B-Dubs shocks him when he visits. They joke around about the godly tier list, but the visions come for Sausage and they travel back in time. This time, to Hermitcraft Season 8. It's the first time Sausage has ever taken anyone on the trip with him, and it's somewhere B-Dubs recognizes. It's a nostalgia trip for B-Dubs, who last saw his Season 8 base and his horse Lulu when the moon crashed. If you don't watch Hermitcraft and don't understand this reference, we recommend watching the Hermitcraft recap, especially the final episode of Season 8. Anyway, the brains of the LORE team shows up and gives Sausage a showcase on dreams and multidimensional travel. They decide dreams must be the case and head off to interrogate the #1 sleeper on the server, Gem. This goes about as well as one might think.
Thanks for telling us the truth now, Gemini Tay, from multiple realities.
He calms down by building a couple new buildings on the road to the cathedral so some more villagers can move in. Sanctuary is getting livelier by the minute. Somewhere else getting an upgrade is Dawn. It's time for Gem to tackle the town center and add some more infrastructure other than a tavern and a church. One of the builds that is missing from Dawn is a storage room. Princess Gem is outgrowing her starter storage and she wants to build some stuff anyway, so why not combine the two? She decides to build a warehouse in her town center, but gets interrupted by Sausage and Pix, who are apparently becoming conspiracy theorists. She works out that they're just confused about her world hopping stuff, but that's easy enough to explain. She's just LARPing with her friends.
The key part.
B-Dubs in 2 seconds.
Well, where B-Dubs is from, we kill B-Dubs a lot.
Well, everyone might be going insane, but at least the warehouse turns out looking amazing. Deep slate in hand and inspiration in mind, she brings a path along the dock and builds a crane to help bring packages from ships onto land. She takes a visit to her friends in Hermitopia where she meets Impulse and Jevin. And False, the current owner of the Tag Hat, makes a mild effort to kill her with dripstone. Gem tries to convince them to join her religion, but it doesn't work that well.
Oh, good. Oh, my
Oh, they
God.
do.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Jevin, they're on your nose a little bit.
I know, right? I'm like a librarian right now.
They're natural and false, though.
You know
That's
what?
great.
I'm out. Never mind. Take them back. I don't want them.
Oh.
What?
Wow.
After visiting Hermitopia, Gem feels she needs to step up her game a little bit. She wants to build the first ship in Dawn. It really makes a difference in the atmosphere, and Gem is very happy with her new ship.
Joey wants to be a good captain to his new crewmates, despite them murdering him, so he heads back to the end to gather them some wings. It takes a while to find places to pillage that aren't already raided, but he does come home with an ender chest full of treasure, as well as enough wings for everyone and a few spares. And he can't even put those things away before Shubble, Azuma, and Cleo roll up on his storage room and start unloading fireworks from crossbows. The rapid spawn camping lags him out too hard to run away, and he dies 4 times in a row. That we see. When he can finally get a word in edgeways, Joey lies about sending his pirates to assassinate Shelby, but since their truth is now definitely gone, a little bit of blackmail drops onto the table. The witch leaves, and we're sure this won't be the end of things. Once again, Joey pretends this was all a test for his pirates. He wouldn't be Pirate Joe if he wasn't deluding himself, would he? He does still grant them their pirate wings, and they formally gift him Reginald, the ship, since the fat parrot of that name dying's what started the whole thing, before returning to their new Hermitopia, a place he'll have to check out. But today's events have crossed the line. Pirate Joe needs better defences. First up is a shield, forged of course by Gator. What is seemingly just a really cool hook transforms into an even cooler barrier of light to catch his enemies off guard. Next is storage. He's had enough of leaves appearing in his chest room and risking all his new fancy gear being stolen, since people are getting bolder. Instead, he digs out a space under his chest room to make a secret hideout with a hidden entrance. He does show the trick to entering the secret hideout on camera, which could be dangerous now that the 4th wall on Empires is basically a trampoline. The captain's quarters are nevertheless magnificent, the perfect place to hide goodies and plan raids on his foes. As long as no one watches his videos, of course. And with that, join us next week for more chaos and shenanigans. Thank you for watching, liking and subscribing, and thanks to everyone helping out with the project. Check them all out down below.